And welcome back to the Simpleton Review. We're glad you've joined us here. This week we are talking about Academy Award nominee and maybe winner by the time this review goes live, The Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal is a movie about a heavy metal drummer's life is thrown into freefall when he begins to lose his hearing. Directors Darius Martyr, and the stars are Riz, I believe is how you say his name, Riz Ahmed, Olivia Cook, and Paul Raci. Riz Ahmed has Best Actor nominee coming his way, and Paul Raci also has a Best Supporting Actor role coming his way, and then the movie again is up for Best Picture of the Year. Lemuel, let's start with you. What did you think of The Sound of Metal?
I mean, the first thing I think that should be pointed out is the sound design in this movie was really good. I feel like it wouldn't have been any good if the sound design wasn't near as good as it was. Because, I mean, it's a whole movie about sound. But I will also complain that because of how good the sound design was, at the end of the movie, I wanted to turn off the speaker a couple times. I was not enjoying the sounds that they were using to show what was happening in his head at all. But the beginning of this movie really sucks you in because it just starts off, it's loud, there's lots of flashing lights, you don't know what's going on really in the slightest, and it's pretty disorientating, and I think it's a really good way to start off this movie. Just draws you in instantly. How uncomfortable this movie could get, I think was really well done. I feel like movies tend to try to be like, oh, we're uncomfortable, this is an uncomfortable scene, but there are only a few times where I'm like, okay, this movie genuinely makes me feel uncomfortable, and this movie pulled that off quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not with like some weird racy type of a scene or anything. It's just what they did, like you said, with the sound and the acting. You felt imprisoned, enclosed. It was like, whoa. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Charlie, tell me what you thought about The Sound of Metal.
Oh, I love this film. I like how it kept you emotionally on edge. When you think about metal bands and you think about like how defiant they are, the whole idea is to like, I'm an individual, I will be who I am forever, and then all of a sudden something changes your whole personality and everything that you are in an instant. And then that person is cornered and needs somebody around him. I mean, not just like the hope, love kind of thing, relationship. No, I actually need help. I need something, and that is not a place that independent people want to be. Yeah, and I that first conversation that Riz Ahmed, I think he's an excellent actor, and when he was confronted at the camp, meeting with the guy for the first time, basically acted like an addict the whole scene. Sure, yeah. Just because it's like he didn't want to rely on anybody. He wanted back into his own scene. Yeah. But then he had to, and you could tell that this was gonna cause a total personality change. So yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, it is. There's a few things I wanted to talk about here, because there's always a few things I want to talk about. Just so you know. So I watched this movie at one of my lunchtimes, and so I had my headphones on, and so I was able to really hear the sound. And so I mean, like you said, it starts off with just this banging of this just really dark, heavy, like Norwegian type of metal, just heavy stuff. And then when he starts to lose his hearing, and that ringing, and it was so powerful, and it just like it hurt my ears. I had to remove my headphones because it was hurting my ears, that ringing and the muffled sound. It was just such a good use of sound editing in this movie that just made the movie to go back and forth into the muffledness, and just you could feel the prison that he felt like he was in all of a sudden, because here's this man who requires his hearing to do what he does, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And that devastation he feels, and then of course to add on to that, he's a recovering addict who's been clean for, I think, what they say, 3 years or something like that.
4 years.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, and I just kept on waiting for this film to just show him just go on a binger, and just drop off the wagon and become an addict again. But it never went that way, and I was so happy, and so because that's the easy way out for a Hollywood movie, right? To just go down that road. And they didn't do it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. It made it so much better. He struggled with it. He thought about it, but he didn't do it. But he was still...
things...
Yeah.
They showed things he used to kind of cope with the fact that he couldn't do it. Like the whole idea of him having to sit down in the room for 5 minutes and just not do anything.
That was an intense
instead of
scene,
like
man.
constantly going around and fixing things and cleaning and whatever. Like as I think we all kind of do that when we're like, I'm uncomfortable, I'm anxious, I need to do something right now. I need to clean my kitchen. I need to do this thing. So like just the idea of having to sit down for 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. And I thought of that same thing. I'm like, could I do that? I don't think I could do what he just did, but it was such an incredible movie. And like you said, Riz Ahmed was just it was so.
That guy's amazing. Yeah. He's just really good.
Yeah. Everything was so downplayed and so subtle in this movie, It was just like they could have really went over the top and made it so dramatic, and none of it was. It was just very tightly controlled subtlety in the whole movie. It never went off that deep end, and I was like, this movie is so amazing. It was really, really good. And I thought also too, just kind of a side note, you got these two lovers that are headbangers, they're metalheads, and that one scene they go in the motorhome and they're dancing to R&B music. I'm like, see, metalheads aren't so dumb. It's not like they don't like other kinds of music, which you always get this idea that all they're gonna listen to is this and this. No, it's like exactly, and they show this delicate nature. I mean, just because you always think of metalheads or people like that as just mean and angry and whatever else, and just the tender relationship that these two had at that it was really cool. I don't know, it was so just kind of an off thing, but they gave depth to the characters. They weren't two-dimensional characters. They were very deep characters. Even the girlfriend, who wasn't in the movie very much, still had a lot of depth in her character. It was I can't say enough of this movie. It was really, really good. So
she did a really good job of being concerned for him when she was in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Just that look at him, like the whole time, like, is this gonna be okay?
Yeah,
was very convincing to me.
Yeah.
Well, and then when she got controlling, is like, there is no way you're not going to do this.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like, if you're gonna try and get out of it, we're done.
Yeah.
Not only are we done, but you might as well just head for the hills.
Right. Yeah, that was good. All right, let's drop our scores. Lemuel, why don't you go first?
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I was enthralled with this movie.
Okay.
Can't say enough about it, but I don't want to spoil the things that like really made it for people. So just go watch it, please. If you can watch it in a movie theater or with like really good headphones, do that.
For sure. Charlie, what about you?
4.5 out of 5. Yeah,
that's it?
I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing 4.5. It's great. The filming was awesome. I could probably nitpick all the things that irritated me, and so I won't give it a perfect score, but man, this one is such a contender for the Oscars that I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I am going to go with Charlie's score. I'm going to give it a 4.5. It is fantastic. There are a few nitpicky things, but for the most part, this movie is well worth it. I think this should be the Academy Award or winner for Best Picture. I really do. Out of all of the other movies that are nominated, I think this one is the best out of the ones I've seen. I think Nomadland is going to win, which is a great movie. Don't get us wrong here. We reviewed that, gave it a certified rating. But I think this movie is better than Nomadland. It's just that good. There's one scene I want to talk where he's sitting at the slide, and the kid. What a great scene! Oh, so good.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, all right. So as you guys can tell, we are very big on this movie, The Sound of Metal. If you have not seen it yet, what are you waiting for? Go see it.
Go see it. Oh man, you can stream it right now.
Yeah.
Do it.
It is amazing and well worth your time. And it's not a very long movie. 2 hours long. It's worth your time. Go see it. Sound of Metal, 4.5, 4.5, and a 4 from the Simpletons. Thanks so much, guys. That's right. It is certified. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us here at the Simpleton Review. We do reviews every week. We'll drop a new video on YouTube on Saturday mornings if we don't slack. But you can check out all you need to find out about us here at the Simpleton Review by going to our website at simpletonreview.com. Find our videos there. You can find our podcast and everything else. Simpleton. We look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Simpleton Review. Bye-bye.